Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. You remember I mentioned how you can hedge against currency if you plan on doing some traveling down the road. Well, here's that example, hedging with foreign exchange futures. Let's take a look at this example. It's kind of fun. We have a scenario. Many entities, including firms and individuals, face exposure to foreign exchange risk. For instance, importers and exporters often must commit to future purchases or sales of goods and payment in foreign currency. Similarly, multinational corporations with foreign subsidiaries receive payment in various currencies. Additionally, affluent individuals planning extended trips abroad may worry about unexpected fluctuations in foreign currency prices. These diverse parties can mitigate unwanted currency risk by utilizing the foreign exchange futures market. I think I mentioned futures and exchanges and forwards and hedging. Well, maybe I haven't mentioned hedging yet, but all you're doing is betting against perhaps a particular currency from increasing while you wait from point A to point B in your vacation. So when a trader anticipates exchanging one currency for another, it entails transaction exposure, as they will engage in market transactions for currency exchange. Firms frequently encounter translation exposure, where they need to restate one currency in terms of another. For example, a company with foreign subsidiaries earnings profits in foreign currency must present its financial statements in domestic currency. Although no actual exchange occurs in the foreign exchange market, fluctuating exchange rates, as I have shown you in terms of dollar change or exchange interest rate changes, fluctuating exchange rates can affect the firm's reported earnings when translating foreign earnings into the domestic currency. In the following example, we explore hedging strategies for both transaction and translation exposure. Here, we have a hedging transaction exposure. In this example, John Smith is heading off on a 6-month journey to Switzerland, finds himself in a situation necessitating careful consideration of exchange rates, as shown in Table 917. Concerned about potential fluctuation, Smith opts to secure the current rates by purchasing Swiss franc futures, acquiring 2 June Swiss franc SF equals Swiss franc contracts, prevailing rate of 0.5134. Expecting this to cover his expenses, as indicated in Table 917, he later finds validation for his cautious approach when the spot rate rises to 0.511 by June 6th. By executing his future contract, Smith exchanges 128,350 for Swiss franc 250. Transaction that would have cost him 130,275 in the spot market, saving him 1925. This prudent hedging strategy enables Smith to extend his stay in Switzerland with the savings. How does this work? You have a choice. Just before you head off, perhaps you fly to Switzerland, you have 128,350. You have to exchange that over into francs. He did it early. He bought 250,000 in Swiss francs before taking off, and he was secured this rate, 5134. Had he waited, he flies to Switzerland, he can only get 5211 per Swiss franc. He was getting 5134, so he's going to get more Swiss franc. It's going to cost him less than the 5211. You can buy now or you can buy later. So here we have a spot. What's the spot price? Spot price is the current price. That's today's price. I'll give you an example. You can prepay for an airline ticket. That would be forward pricing. Let's say you plan to fly in December. Well, you can see prices today, and they're going to show prices, 1,000, 1,100, et cetera, et cetera. As you move closer to the actual flight time, you're going to see prices have increased. So that's sort of like forward pricing. Here, you're going to see, I can wait till the last minute, maybe I'll get a deal, or I can prepay ahead of time. Same theory. Here you have a spot rate, then you have the March rate, June rate, September and December. He was planning on leaving in June. He bought at 5134. Notice how prices increase over time. This is the spot rates, and there's a way to calculate this using zeros. Now, I'm not sure we can do it with a thing like this. We may be able to, but we'll get to that down the road. Here's the scenario. Smith plans to take a 6-month vacation in Switzerland to begin in June. The trip will cost about Swiss francs 250. Smith buys 2 June Swiss franc futures at 0.5134 for a total of 128,350. June 6th, the dollar Swiss franc spot rate is now 52.11, giving a dollar cost of 130,275 or Swiss franc 250. Smith delivers his 128,350 and collects 250,000 in Swiss francs. Savings 130 minus 128,350, 1925. That's it. That's hedging. Now keep in mind, if Swiss francs went the other direction, he loses that opportunity. So there's always an opportunity cost. His bet paid off. If this 51.34 went to 50, he's not going to lose. He's not physically going to lose any money. I mean, he's going to lose his opportunity cost, but he'll end up buying back. He'll still have to pay 123.50 for his contract, and he'll kick himself saying, I should have waited and I could exchange this at 50 as opposed to 51.34. Works both ways. If it was that simple, then we'd all be wealthy. In this example, Smith had pre-existing risk in the foreign exchange market since it was already determined that he would acquire the Swiss francs. By trading futures, he guaranteed a price of 0.5134 per Swiss franc. Of course, the futures market can be used for purposes that are even more serious than reducing the risk surrounding Smith's vacation. Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. Thanks for watching.